Listening is hearing with full awareness. Listening means hearing without mind. Listening means hearing without any interference of your thoughts. This is the 46th episode of Dream 100 Show. Welcome to the show, listener. I'm your host, Savitha Hosamane. Each week, we interview today's most successful and inspiring business owners with winning teams, or we explore one aspect of evolving business owners, cultivating their inner strengths for personal growth, which will impact business growth positively. In this episode, we will be exploring about one of the competences of leadership to lead an organization. So, what is that competency which we will be discussing today? This competency is of the listening skill. Why do you think listening is important when it comes to business matters? Whether you're a born leader or you're a made leader, listening skill is a must for effective communication and building a business. So now let's see how to develop this listening skills, wherein we will be sharing 5 tips. Peter Drucker's quote about listening is something very beautiful, where he says that listening is the first competence of leadership. It is not a skill, it is a discipline. All you have to do is keep your mouth shut. And I'm sure that for most of us, listening hasn't come naturally. We have to develop it. So now let's look at the 5 tips. As we all know that listening is the ability to listen effectively so that messages are not easily misunderstood. First and foremost, let's delve into the topic of what is listening. Listening is hearing with full awareness. Listening means hearing without mind. Listening means hearing without any interference of your thoughts. Listening means hearing as if you are totally empty. This is what Osho says. Listening definitely is a discipline, and it has become a rare gift these days. All of us have become a bit impatient. So when we are listening to others, we are gifting the gift of time to them. And especially when it comes to business transactions, it helps in building relationships with our colleagues, business partners, as well as our customers. So listening solves a lot of problems, and it ensures understanding and improves the accuracy and builds connectedness. Listening has a lot of benefits at work. When we listen carefully, we commit less mistakes, and thereby we will be saving a lot of time. So it is a skill which builds friendships and careers. It saves money, and when it comes to the personal friend, it has saved a lot of marriages. So let's go ahead and see how listening is to be developed. We will be sharing 5 tips. So the first tip is pay attention to the person who is speaking to you. When we are in business meetings, it is very important to maintain eye contact and not to be busy with our own thoughts. Right? And sometimes when you are approached by your teammates, see to it that you are not glued into your files or to the laptop screen. Make an attempt of looking at the person who has approached you and pay attention to what they are speaking. This builds immediate rapport with the person who is speaking to you. Now, let's look at the second tip. Whenever a person is speaking, listen without interrupting the other person. Many a time you might not interrupt, but see to it that you are not jumping into conclusions in your mind. And do not judge also, as all these things reduces the quality of listening, because we are getting carried away in our own world and not paying attention to the person who is speaking. So don't do unnecessary interruption and pay full attention. Now let's look at the third tip. When a person is talking to you, you will feel like asking a lot of questions so as to understand the topic better. In such cases, ask questions which the person is speaking only to increase understanding, and do not ask questions or comment something which is irrelevant to the topic. We always try to bring in our experiences or try to relate something when we hear specific words, and we lose the string of the conversation which is going on. So do not do that. Always see to it that it strengthens the conversations rather than diluting the conversation or the topic. Now let's go to the fourth tip. During conversations or when you are listening to a person who is speaking, you can give feedback, nudging the speaker to go on by just nodding your head to show that you are understanding. Or sometimes you might even feel that a person is not feeling comfortable stating some things. Just encourage the other person to go on. This will help them to open up. And now, moving on to the fifth tip. While listening, always remember that the words which they are conveying is just a fraction of the message. There will be a deeper communication which is happening through their body language, tone, and expression. And you can notice it very clearly in face to face meetings. Even in telephonic conversations, you can pay attention to the tonality of the voice, and always summarize the topic of discussion so that both of you are in the same page during the end of the conversation. Listening is definitely a skill, a discipline, and an art too. Listening is one of the basic secrets of entering into the temple of the divine, says Osho. When you are listening attentively to somebody, you will forget yourself. Has it happened to you? Share your thoughts. We would welcome your thoughts. Now, before we end this, let's do a quick recap of the 5 tips. The first tip is pay attention to the person who is speaking to you. Second tip is listen without interrupting the other person. Third tip, ask questions about the topic for better understanding. The fourth tip is give feedback. Fifth tip is observe body language, tone, and expression along with the words, as words are just conveying a fraction of the message. Thank you so much, listener, for listening to this episode of Dream 100 Show. Never lose out on an opportunity to learn about cultivating your inner strengths on Dream 100 Show. We strongly believe that life is just a play. We win some, we lose some, we miss some, and we mess with some. So enjoy your journey and play to the fullest. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Dream 100 Show. And now make a smart decision of taking the next step towards building your trust and your dreams. Don't forget to subscribe to Dream 100 Show and leave a review on Apple Podcast. Share your biggest takeaways with us and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. For more details, shoot an email to us. This is Savitha signing off and catch you soon in our next episode.